Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn, and part 2 of our chakra series today is about the sacral chakra. And that means pleasure, creativity, sensuality, and emotions. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, it helps out a lot. And hop into something comfy, jump on your mat, and let's get started. To begin our sacral chakra flow, let's everyone get on our backs in a supine position. Bring the feet to touch and the knees can hang out. Just let them fall as they will. You can recruit some blocks, or if you have blankets or something to stick under your knees just for some support. And like I said, this is all about the sacral chakra today, which is located down in the pelvis. And it has to do with creativity and your primal self. Begin to find your breath here. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose while pressing your tongue on the roof of your mouth. As we're laying here, you can begin to, if you have blocks or some sort of support, you can begin to move them out and let your knees fall out even further. Just make sure during this whole practice today, just have awareness to your pelvic region, your sacral chakra. Another few breaths here just to get grounded. Some affirmations to help you find enjoyment in this practice. I find pleasure in my life, and I move easily and effortlessly. Maybe repeat those to yourself throughout today's practice. And hopefully you find some enjoyment. Another few breaths here. Maybe move the blocks out just a little bit further. Let the knees fall out even more. Now let's remove our props, blocks, blanket, whatever you're using, off to the side altogether. Using the hands on the outside of the knees, bring the knees up and give them a little hug just to make the lower back happy. Now you can either make your way up to a seat just by pressing yourself up, or you can rock back and forth a little further each time until you find yourself in that seat. I'll turn towards you so you can see what I'm doing here, but same position, that butterfly position. Grab a hold of the toes or the feet or somewhere. With an inhale, lift our knees up, and with an exhale, lower back down. We'll do that a few more times, just keeping the soles of the feet together. Inhale, lift, and exhale, back down. Inhale, lift, and exhale, back down. Inhale, lift, and exhale, back down. Now let's make our way into table posture. We'll do a couple rounds of cat-cow here, just to warm the spine. Inhale, cow. Maybe press the hips back. And exhale, round into cat. Let the chin hang. Tuck the tailbone. Round the back. Inhale, cow. Maybe bend the elbows this time. And exhale, round into cat. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Come back to that neutral table posture. Press yourself back into downward dog. This is our first one. We can pedal out those knees. Whatever makes you comfortable here in your downward dog. Just take a few moments. Now lift the right leg into the air, three-legged dog, and step that foot up between the hands. Drop the back knee, and we'll come up into a low lunge. And on this low lunge, focus on pressing the hips forward, opening that hip up, just for a breath or two. And hands back down to the mat. Lift that back knee back into three-legged dog, and return that foot to the ground. Same thing, opposite side. Lift the left leg, three-legged dog, and bring that foot up between the hands. Drop the back knee, rise up into low lunge, and again, we're moving our hips forward, opening the left side, and return the hands to the mat. Downward, or three-legged dog again, downward facing dog, and then a high plank, lower down, all the way to the belly. Move our hands, our thumbs down by the lowest rib, shoelace side of the foot on the ground, and press up into high cobra. Awareness of the sacral chakra, the pelvis region. And exhale, lower back down, press up into high plank, downward facing dog, and we'll flow through again this time. Lower down, chaturanga, flip the toes, flip the feet, high cobra, flip the feet again, and downward facing dog. One more time, high plank, lower down, flip the feet, upward facing dog, flip the toes again, and press back into downward facing dog. Now walk the hands and feet towards the middle of the mat into standing forward fold. Inhale, high plank, and exhale, fold. Now inhale, rise, bring the arms straight up, and bring the hands down to heart center. Now let's set ourselves up for warrior two here. Bring one foot towards the front of your mat, the back foot facing away from your mat. Nice bend in the front knee, arms nice and straight, space in front of the heart, space behind the heart. Nice warrior two here. Inhale, straighten the front knee, and exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, lower. With each one of these, try to get lower each and every time. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, lower. One last time. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, lower. Now windmill the arms down, hands on the mat, rotate the back foot, and then bring your right hand inside of your right foot. We're going to drop the back knee for a lizard lunge here. You can release the back toe or keep it tucked, or you can even have the back knee floating still. I'll try to sink into this lizard lunge here. If you like a progression from here, you can either use blocks or whatever you have to support. You can drop the elbows on those blocks if you like, or you can stay right here just supporting with your hands. Shoulders stacked over the wrists. Just a few breaths here. Really feel that hip opening up and feel the awareness, or bring awareness to the sacral chakra. Go ahead and float that back knee if you're not there already. Press back into three-legged dog. Downward facing dog. And go ahead and walk your feet towards the front of your mat into a standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circle the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. So same series, opposite side. Plant your left foot. Right foot comes back into that warrior two. Arms out, gaze just over the front hand. With an inhale, straighten the front knee. With an exhale, rebend into that warrior two. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, sink a little lower this time. Inhale, straighten, and exhale, lower. One last time, we'll inhale, straighten, and exhale, lower into that warrior two. Nice proud warrior two. Now windmill the arms down, palms on the mat, flip that back foot. You can bring your left hand inside of your left foot, walk the left foot out, and either stay here in your lizard lunge or drop the back knee, release the back toes if you like. And again, same modification if you like to place your hands on a block or whatever you have to support you. Or you can just be here with me and then just enjoy this hip opening lizard lunge. Nice, deep, fulfilling breaths. If this posture is painful, you can breathe your way through it. Just focus on your breath. Just another couple breaths. Just really feel that hip opening up. And of course, awareness in the pelvic area, your sacral chakra. Go ahead and tuck those toes, knee up off the mat, and we'll press back into a three-legged dog. And lower down, flush it, fold it with chaturanga. Vinyasa, flow through to upward dog. Flip the toes, downward facing dog. Now walk all the way to the front of your mats into that standing forward fold. And slowly rise into your Tadasana. Hands at heart center at the top. Now you can stay where you're at, but I'm going to turn, face you for this next one. And we're going to sink down into garland pose here. Now that our hips are nice and open, this should be fairly easy. But feet a little bit wider than shoulder width. Toes pointed out about 45 degrees. And we're going to sink down into garland pose, our yogi squats. Thighs pressing against elbows, elbows pressing in against thighs, hands at heart center. If you can, try to round the tailbone down. And again, awareness in that pelvic region, that sacral chakra. Just a few breaths here. Just really be here with this posture. And when you're ready, release. come back into a table posture from here. Press back into downward facing dog. Three-legged dog with the left side, and we'll set ourselves up for pigeon pose. So bring the left knee to the left wrist, left foot to the right wrist. Just as straight as you can get this knee. If you can do a proper pigeon pose where your shin is parallel with the mat, that's great. If you need support, like I do, grab a block, place it under the left glute, maybe another one down here for your head, and just melt down into this pigeon pose. If your shin walks down about, so where it's facing about 45 degrees away or less, that is completely okay. That means you have tight hips like I do. But a good few breaths here to really sink in. Most of the weight should be here in your hips. Your forehead shouldn't be pressing too hard into whatever's supporting it, or if you're on the ground, shouldn't have too much pressure on your forehead. The goal with pigeon pose is to try to fold completely with your forehead on the ground and also with the shin parallel across the mat. But either way, go ahead and walk the back leg in just a couple steps. Remove your prop that if you were using one to support yourself, and press back into downward or three-legged dog, and downward facing dog. Same thing, opposite side. Three-legged dog with the right leg, and set ourselves up for pigeon. So right knee to right wrist, right foot to left wrist, and walk the back leg back while trying to keep the front knee where it is. Grab that block if you need it to support you. My hips are a little different, so I need to go the next step up with this block and support for your forehead. Most of the weight should be right here in the hips. And again, the goal is to have your shin flat across the ground, parallel with the mat. But if you're not there, it's completely okay. Focusing on your breathing will take you through this if there's any kind of pain anywhere. We'll just take a few more breaths here to really sink in. Press your head off of whatever's supporting it. Walk the back leg in just a few steps. Remove any other props you might have. And press yourself back into that three-legged dog. And return the foot to the mat for downward dog. And come into table posture here. Now I recommend quite a few props for this next pose. If you don't have a bolster like this, that's okay. A pillow or two will do. And I recommend a blanket. Doesn't have to be a yoga blanket like this, but any blanket. We're going to set it across our mat and off of the mat so it's able to slide. If you're on carpet, it might be a little more difficult, but I'll try to slide it on carpet. For this next pose is frog pose, supported frog pose. When lay across your pillow like this, if you'd like to. If you want to do just regular frog pose, you can do that as well. Maybe a block up here for your forehead. But lay your torso across your pillow or your bolster. Your feet, your legs, and your hips should be out parallel. Your shins parallel 90 with your thighs. Maybe a block here for your forehead. Or if you have a shorter torso, you can turn your head to the side like this. But as we're in here in this posture, just try to let your hips just slide out. That's why we have this blanket. If you have a hard floor, it's a little easier. Just let yourself sink into this posture. And maybe you're here, you're on your pillow, your bolster, whatever you have, and this is just not enough. Spreading of the hips for you, you can certainly remove yourself off of your prop. But just feel a nice stretch in your hips. And also awareness to the sacral chakra area, your pelvis. If you have your head turned on your prop like this, I'll let you know when we're halfway there and you can turn it to the other side so everything's even. Just feel yourself really sink down here. Feel the weight of your body against whatever's supporting you. Or if you're just on the floor, just feel the weight of your body just being on the floor, supported by the floor. We're about halfway there, so if you have your head turned one way, you can turn it the other way. If you'd like, you can play around and maybe tuck your tailbone. See how that feels for the treatment. Tucking your tailbone like cat pose, or maybe arching your back like cow pose. See how that changes the treatment. Or if you like, you can just remain your hips neutral. Remember to keep breathing through this posture. After your next exhale, inhale, bring your shoulders over your wrists, press yourself up, begin to walk your knees back into the mat, into a table posture. Move your props off to the side, your blanket, your bolster, whatever you may have had, if any. And we can swing our legs around. We can bring ourselves onto our back. Soles of the feet on the mat, arms straight out, and slowly lower onto your back. Palms on the ground, heels close to your glutes as you can get them. And press up with an inhale into bridge pose, sending that sacral region, that pelvis towards the sky. And exhale, lower all the way back down softly. With an inhale, we'll raise our arms up to the sky and keep going all the way overhead until the fingernails are touching the ground above our heads. And with an exhale, roll all the way back down. Now, next round, we'll send the hips and the arms skyward at the same time for rolling bridge. So with an inhale, press up. And our hips should reach their peak height when our fingernails touch the ground overhead. Trying to keep the knees fairly close to each other. Don't let them splay out at all. Hold this posture, squeeze the glutes, press through the feet. And exhale, roll it all the way back down. Hips touch the ground when the palms do at the same time. And inhale, rolling bridge, lift everything. Really press through those feet, squeeze those glutes. Send that pelvis up to the sky. And exhale, all the way back down. One last time. Inhale, press up, fingernails touching the ground overhead. And exhale, roll it all the way back down, gently touching the hips to the ground, gently touching the palms to the ground. Straighten the left leg, give the right knee a hug, and go ahead and pass that over the front of the body. Try to keep your shoulders on the ground, your right shoulder especially on the ground. If your knee doesn't come over and touch the ground, that is fine. You can either with a block or just let it hang. As long as your right shoulder is still in contact with the ground. After an exhale, inhale, lift the knee back to center, and with an exhale, open it up out to the other side. Opening the hip. Arm can be out to a T. After an exhale, inhale, lift it back up to center. Give the right knee one last hug. And release the right foot down to the ground. With the right leg straight, give the left knee a hug. Maybe feel the hip open a little bit. And pass it over to the right side. Same thing applies. Left shoulder should remain in contact with the ground. Rolling over the right thigh. If your right knee or left knee comes in contact with the ground, that's great. If not, you can just let it hang there and just feel the nice stretch in your hips and your glutes. After an exhale, inhale, float that knee back to center and pass it off. Open the hip. Opposite arm comes to a T. Just let that hip just be nice and open. After an exhale, inhale, bring that knee back to the center. Give it one last hug. And straighten that leg, send it out. Set yourself up for our Shavasana. Straighten your feet up and down, and then relax them Let them fall out to the side if they do. Palms towards the sky, arms about 45 degrees out. Nice space between the arm and the side body so your armpits aren't completely closed. Relaxing the toes, relaxing the feet. Feel the heels supported by the ground. Relaxing the calves, feel them supported by the ground. Feel the air pass between the space behind the knee. Feel the thighs and the contact with the ground being supported. Your glutes, maybe feeling your tailbone on the ground. Feeling your upper back, your shoulders being supported. Your upper arm, your lower arm. Relax the fingertips. Relax the back of the hand, feel it be supported. Relax any expression on the face. Feel the back of your head be supported by the ground. Relax the jaw. Relax the tongue. Let your eyes roll back. I want to thank you for joining me today in our sacral chakra flow. If there's something that you found enjoyable, something that you found pleasurable, if you were creative with your body, let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully you did. Hopefully you leave this practice. You want to be creative in your life, and you want to enjoy life, and get pleasure out of life. I just hope I could help with that. Do one last breath together. Inhale, feel the belly, the ribs, feel the chest lift. And through the mouth, exhale, let it all go. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Namaste.